All right. I believe we are recording. Who would like to give a recap?
Well, we spent a lot of time planning on how to get upstairs, or at least up the upside down stairs. And so down the stairs, but up. I don't know how to describe that for people who weren't here last time. But we went up in any event, and we then did even more planning to decide on how we were going to enter a room where we heard voices. We decided eventually to go with the sophisticated plan of bum rushing after doing a little scouting. In there, we found a boy who was possessed by several spirits and who has apparently somehow been, these spirits we believe have been possessing the Reavers and getting them to go and steal parts of statues so that they could reconstruct, I forget the name of their supposed deity, but what looks like some sort of celestial being with wings that had been turned to stone. They're hoping to unfreeze so that they can, can worship their god in non-statue format. And we realized that they were basically tormenting this kid who was apparently psychically sensitive and so easy for them to possess. There were several of them, one of whom was an archaeologist who seemed like the reasonable one of whom was potentially like a priest of this god and seemed somewhat intolerant. I'm not sure if was there a third one or just those two that we ran into?
I think those were the two main ones that we spoke to, but we heard other voices as well.
And there was the kid himself who we talked to.
Yeah.
We eventually decided that, I think we decided that we were going to help the kid get the one last missing piece, which I think was like a part of the eye that was missing from the statue. Silhana was adamant that we have to come up with some plan to move this like half-ton or more weight statue from what is now the top of the upside down broken glass tower back down to the bottom and then out past all the Reavers that are still out there and then up again deeper into Sharn so that we could sell it because it's worth money. But Sharp was more concerned about finding a way to free the kid of these spirits because he doesn't really think shattering the statue is going to do it because presumably it was shattered when they possessed the kid. So if it's shattered again, I don't see how that's going to vanquish the spirits that weren't vanquished when the tower fell on it. But I'm hoping that maybe we can get the spirits to go away if we complete the statue. A little concerned that we're going to like summon some ancient evil deity who's been imprisoned in stone form. But I think the intuition was that it's probably not so much a deity as maybe like some sort of outsider that was turned to stone, something like that. Or maybe just some other sort of creature that was in the form of some angel-like creature. Or possibly a Dalkir who had given up just the angel face part and gone for full angel body.
Yeah, so a couple of reminders. The creature that is the priestly person referred to the statue was by Cithriel. Additionally, Solana did detect evil and good, and the statue resonated with a kind of holy energy.
Doesn't mean they're not a dick, but it's holy energy.
What day is it now? Are we on Sarantar 6?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So you guys are missing out on the famous Tain galas, which are done the 6th of each month. And as you guys know, these are basically your slumlord real estate owners that try to quell the people's horrible feelings by giving them free pizza for a day.
Oh, fuck this. I'm getting a hammer, smashing their hand off, and heading back there. Oh, shit. You're saying we're missing mandatory fun and pizza? How could I possibly do that?
So you guys have woken up. Cass seems to be singing some kind of tune, and sorry, shit, guys, I have to step away for a minute.
No problem.
No problem.
A few moments later.
Hey guys, sorry about that.
No problem.
Hey, how'd the ironing go?
Yeah, family drama.
I am stunned that through that whole thing, your cats haven't come up and buried themselves in the laundry. Just rolled around your hair on the laundry.
Yep.
Oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Nah.
Hot wings are coming back on him.
Yeah, now there's a whole other emergency.
Run for your life!
And he thought they burned on the way in.
You ain't felt nothing yet, buddy.
3 hours later.
I feel like I just recreated the scene from Dumb and Dumber when Harry went to the bathroom.
You're gonna have to
Alright.
leave now for more family issues in the second after doing that.
But in Dumb and Dumber, I don't remember, was that also like diarrhea filled with capsaicin to burn on the way out?
No. So I definitely have added into that. Oh man, that sucks. I don't understand why I did to myself what I did to myself today.
I was gonna say, you were pretty fast. I'm sure it's not done yet.
Well, and then on top of it, there's like police helicopters all over my apartment right now. It's a weird night.
Was your shit that bad?
Yeah.
Yes, Lee.
Environmental disaster in Chicago.
Thousands dead. As...
All right, so you guys are missing out on pizza.
And we remembered to add to the recap. So anybody viewing this at home who managed to stick around for the hour-long break, we learned that the eye of the statue was with some goblin.
Yep.
And the archaeologist lady knew who this goblin was, but I don't remember.
Nope, my notes are all messed up right now. I'm too sick to read them.
So, as we're going through the long rest, just to narrate, I did change my invocation. So as we're going through the long rest, at some point you begin to see like the Sharp's eyes begin to glow and coat over in like a silver haze, which freaks him out initially, and he can't figure out what's going on, but he realizes he can see the magical auras around the magic items we've picked up since I picked up Eldritch Sight. And he lost beguiling influence, so he's not quite as good at talking to people as he used to be.
Oh, see,
not that came up a lot. He was much more about stabbing people.
Yeah. I forgot. Solana, did you use detect magic, or just detect good, evil, and good?
I used detect magic yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, before the long rest.
Okay. And did I mention if the statue came up as magical?
You said that it had celestial feel to it, but you didn't say if it was magical itself.
Okay. I thought that was because you also had detect good and evil, and you use that. I thought.
I have detect malevolence, I believe.
Ah, maleficence. Yes.
Maleficence,
Okay.
that's it. Yep.
So then that's where the statue detected with the celestial aura.
Yep.
With magic, detect magic, both now Sharp, that you're able to see into the spectrum, and Solana, I may have neglected to mention, but the statue does radiate with magic. Particularly, it radiates with some strange mix of abjuration, transmutation, and necromancy.
Okay.
Yeah, so after a while, he would become a little less disturbed at this change, although he has no explanation for how it happened per se. But he would begin to be a little more fascinated, staring at the auras of the few magic items that we do have. He probably would spend a little bit of time, like, staring at Jofar's cloak. He would stare at Jofar too, now that he could see into the spectrum and realize, no, Jofar's on a different spectrum.
Jofar is magical.
So when you guys wake up, you notice that Cass is kind of doing a strange ritual. He has he woke up a little bit before everybody and appears to have covered his hands and parts of his face in some kind of ink that looks to be vaguely tribal. But he's also, he has his familiar / son standing on his shoulder, who is kind of mirroring and mimicking the movements that Cass is doing. And he's letting out this kind of low rhythmic hum that if you listen closely, it's much more intricate than a hum. But the way it's hard to describe it in any way other than a hum. And Sharp, now with your ability to see magic, you can actually see like the musical harmonies being generated by this sound, and it seems to be having an effect on the child in terms of a necromantic influence.
So, I mean, I'll note that. I'm not going to discuss it openly in front of the kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I assume this has something to do with how the spirits are keeping control over him. Either that or, it could be a variety of things, but that's my first hunch.
You could potentially get a little bit more information if you wanted to do like we'll make this we'll make it Arcana. That's fine. We can do that.
Okay. 13.
All right. You don't know much more, and you get some stronger inclination that your hunches may be right. So you guys have the statue now that's behind you that you've been paid to retrieve. You have this child that is being haunted by these spirits all around, who has some kind of connection with the statue. You are in Fallen, which is not the nicest of neighborhoods, in an upturned castle that's been crashed into another castle.
Well, the good news is at least the kid probably, if the kid's with us, maybe the Reavers will leave us alone on the way out. I mean, I really do hate to take this kid to Feanora, but she's probably the closest cleric who would listen to us.
Out of curiosity, with Sharp's new eyes, would he see anything about the spirits that are haunting the kid, or the vortex around him?
That's not magical in nature.
Okay.
And undead do not inherently radiate magic. Unless, of course, they're animated.
Yep.
Then they might radiate some kind of magic.
Okay.
According to Twitter, Mike Merle said zombies will function in anti-magic fields, suggesting
Oh.
no magic. That once you animate them, it's just negative energy that's inherent to them.
I guess so. If you're binding the soul back to the corpse, it makes sense.
Hey, his explanation was that you're actually just binding negative energy to it. So it's not that the soul is back in the corpse, but it's this sort of inherently evil, dark power.
That's now self-perpetuating, in a
Right.
sense.
That's a terrifying thought. How's the kid looking? Is he asleep?
Yeah, the kid seems to be still fast asleep and sleeping very deeply. You had to guess this is probably the first good night of sleep that he's gotten in probably as long as he can remember.
Okay. And Blinky, he's still with the kid?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Still watching over the kid pretty intently, although a little bit more calm around all of you.
Now I'm wondering if we did bind this kid up, gagged him, maybe he'd have more chance to break free if he couldn't sing.
Well, I mean, he's sleeping right now. I'm not really worried about him trying to start singing suddenly.
Yeah, but if my hunch is right, then the singing is helping the spirits keep control over the kid. So if the goal is to free the kid,
Is there still... Wait, who's singing?
the kid was singing.
Right now? Or...
He was.
Okay.
Yeah, previously he was engaged in some kind of singing and chanting, but right now it's Cass who's doing that.
So is Cass what he saw, or was it singing in general?
What Sharp is seeing today now is Cass who's doing the singing. Oh, sorry. Okay. Cass is a goblin that Brendan plays.
Mhm.
Cole is the name of the child.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
So there might have been some confusion there.
Yeah.
And then Hildegard is the personality that's the scholar. Junius is the personality who's the cult leader.
Okay. I did not understand who was singing. It makes more sense that Cass the Goblin was singing. I didn't even realize he was here.
Yes. And his little familiar goblin son creature thing, who's toy-sized, is on his shoulder, replicating all of his movements.
Yep.
So, sure, the kid is enjoying a good night's sleep, but maybe we should wake him up and get out of here.
We don't really have to wake him up. I can kind of carry him.
Yeah, and possibly have to drop him. I mean, there's a lot of climbs involved in getting out of here, if you recall.
I could just empty out one of my backpacks into one of yours and then put him in the backpack.
How big is this kid?
How old is this kid? Yeah.
Doesn't appear to be more than like 9 or 10.
Yeah, you can fit him in a decent sized backpack.
I've never actually seen a backpack where I felt like I could stuff a 9-year-old in there. A small dog? Sure.
We can put him in. He's like a half-starved African child. He's very thin and small.
Well, there you go. Now I'm never going to be able to shake the image of this kid as starving Marvin.
So, there are, especially, not in this room, but in the next room over where you guys came from, a lot of the building has collapsed, into that small space where you fought all of the, or where you found all of the Reavers and drew them out to have them impale themselves on spikes. But a lot of those walls and everything have crumbled away, and there's plain night sky up above. So, well, no, not night sky, morning sky right now, which is mostly crowded out by the giant towers looming above, but you do see some clouds and some sky. It appears fairly clear, but you could theoretically, if you had enough rope and if you had the supplies, climb down the outside of the tower.
How high up is this opening to us?
It's probably like 20 feet, but a lot of the rubble is such that it's not a very steep climb. The rubble is fairly large. It seems fairly stable, leading up to it. So, at the very least, if you wanted to, you could move up and get a better look at what there is.
And with my keen mind, would I know how high we've traveled upwards? Because I remember everything perfectly.
You would
Joe
guess.
Joe Far probably counted every inch on the way up.
You would guess you're probably about 80 feet up in the air.
Oh yeah, then. Let me. Does anyone else have rope besides myself? Because I got 50 feet of hemp rope.
Yeah, I got rope too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can do it then if we tie the ropes together. And how difficult would it be to traverse to get on top of the rubble to the top of this area?
Relatively easy. As long as you have all your hands free. Because it is a little awkward going up. But so if you want to try to carry the kids sleeping, probably not going to be easy. But if you were to wake the kid up and have them climb up with you, they could probably do it.
In imperial measurements, about how much does this kid weigh?
What's imperial measurements? Is that like American?
Yeah,
kilograms.
That's what the
It is American.
yes.
Then just
Like
say
the language-
American.
Yeah.
I
Like
can
the-
never be sure. I'm doing a system right now. We're with Peter. We're using metric there, which is the wrong system. I have to make sure everyone knows.
I mean, it's pretty. It should be easy enough to remember. We speak American.
English, motherfucker. You speak it. No, I speak American.
It probably weighs about 60 pounds.
Okay, it's not horrendous or anything then. Right. And we need 80 feet of rope to get down. So if we got 20 extra feet, we could probably finagle a saddle or something, and I can just wear them as a backpack.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily strike me as a trouble-free climb.
Oh,
When you're wearing a kid as a backpack.
Well, someone doesn't wear many kids as backpacks.
I like it. At least imagine you have him like facing out the other way. So his arms are just sticking out the wrong way.
I got one of the ones where he just faces against my chest and everything, just head up there, like the mothers wear and shit.
Well, at least that way the kid can help. The other way is just kind of stuck there.
I don't really know what the kid's gonna do to help. He's half starved, he can barely move.
He could break your fall.
There you
I
go.
can fall 20 feet without taking damage, though. I'm level 4
Can you
now.
while wearing a kid backpack?
Of course, the kid will be fine. This would be so much easier if I was a
After
rogue.
this, using the information that we pick up here, though, we can definitely go into business selling Eberron's first like baby Bjorns.
There we go. God, why the hell are we detectives? We got money for inventions. Shit. Wrong line of work.
Onward to the Breland Patent Office.
Exactly. Let me tell you about this kid.
Plus, you could tie your 100 feet of rope off to the statue here, so that when we're down there, we can all just heave and drag the statue down the side.
I think we'd break it if we tried, and I don't think we even could. Actually, the statue weighs only a ton and a
1,200.
half, and if we go based on
Which
encumbrance-
actually, considering the size of the statue and that it appears to be made out of marble or like a white alabaster marble, it's 1,200 pounds is pretty light for what you would expect it to weigh.
Yeah, that's not much at all. It's someone knock on the statue, see if it's hollow like a Kinder egg.
Maybe their god is inside. We should shatter it to free their god.
Can you hear us? Blink twice if you can hear us.
Yeah, if we want to try to climb down the side of this building, I suppose that's safer than going back over all the broken glass that almost killed Joe Farr last time. Not to mention all the potential rats.
That is true. I did see a rat's nest in that one area we didn't enter.
Probably not nearly as many rats on the side of the building.
Again, just note, I'm completely paralyzed holding a kid right now. I can't exactly do a bunch of stuff. I think the last thing we want to do is awaken him right as we're trying to leave here.
I thought he was aware he was coming with us. If not, I think the climbing's probably going to alert him that something is amiss.
I put that chloroform. Shit.
But okay, I'll tie together 2 50-foot lengths of rope and look for something that I can anchor it to, and if not, tie it to the statue. Collectively, we don't weigh 1,200 pounds. We're not gonna. I suppose the statue might break. There would be a concern.
Well, also consider that where the statue is already 15 feet into the room where you need to go, another 10 feet to the wall. So already that's 25 feet of your rope before you even get to the edge.
Yep.
So plus, 80 feet down, we just have to drop 5 feet.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
You guys have already gone through this whole thing, so I'm just going to share with you guys the full map of it. Where is that button? There it is. So this is where the statue is,
Hmm.
Okay.
and these are the beginnings of the rubble that peak around towards the edge. The edge is here.
So I'll probably tie it around one of the closer pillars then. See, I don't know whether, like, when you work out the distance from the pillar to the door, which presumably the rope has to go through.
Those aren't exactly pillars. Those are broken statues that have all
I see.
fallen.
Okay. That's not that useful.
Though I mean, there's a few of them could probably serve as decent anchors still.
And we have to go into that room with the statue, correct?
Tie it around the 1 in the number 19. Because that's right next to it.
Wait, what? Where? There's no statue in the 19 room.
Right. I said I would tie it around the number 1.
Oh.
So yeah, I would then, I mean, seems like the statue pieces are probably slightly closer than the main statue. Not by a whole lot, not to the door, but by a little bit. Maybe I can get that extra 5 feet we need to get to the bottom.
The 5-foot draw.
Also, Sharp, give me. We're gonna go sleight of hand check to see how well you tie the ropes together.
So a dexterity check. Oh,
I believe in you.
that's a 6.
Good rope. Good rope.
Whatever,
So basically,
I
you're
think
feeling real good about those ties, the knots
Yeah.
that you made.
I think I did a great job.
Unfortunately, my character is not a rope expert, so I think he did a great job.
And Joe Farr is just judging everyone, looking on in judgment.
So the good news is I would definitely go first anyway.
Bad news is I still need to figure out what to do with this kid.
Oh, right.
Because like I said, I don't think suddenly awakening him, especially if he knows we're leaving and the spirits know we're leaving, is going to be a good idea.
But they think we're leaving to go get the eye.
They might think we're leaving to go get the eye, or they might be complete dicks. We never know. Does anyone want to wake the kid?
I will reach out and like tap the kid's head. Hey kid, come on. We're
Huh?
getting out of here now.
We're leaving.
Yep.
Wait a minute. Oh, the voices are gone. Yeah, let's get out of here. Let's leave.
I look at him suspiciously, hearing that the voices are gone. And then I will see if Cass is acting weird.
He's just continuing to make that hum sound.
Cass, you're not hearing any voices, are you? Are any more voices than normal? Like 2 more?
And he shakes his head, and then he points to his shoulder, and his miniature son, through its mouth, you hear Cass's voice. I'm creating a barrier between the kid and the spirits.
That's helpful. So yeah, we're gonna climb down the side of this tower. Maybe we'll even get you home at some point.
The child looks like he's going to cry.
Cole, tell me, do you think you can hold on to me for a while?
Through tear-filled eyes, that he's barely keeping his composure together. He just nods.
Okay. Wrap your arms around my front then, and hold on.
He grabs you tight.
Okay. Blinky, you can just blink out of here, right?
He looks at you and goes, "Woof!"
I thought so.
So do you guys survey the area first, or are you going up now?
I mean,
Well,
I'm gonna look down the side before I start climbing. Pick my way through the rubble and take a look to see. This might not be as good a plan as we thought.
All right. So, roughly, which edge are you going to look down from?
I mean, I would probably look just sort of directly across from the door.
This way?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So as you get to that edge, you look down and you see the Dagger River just straight below.
Well, it'll break our fall.
Please tell me the river has actual daggers in it from the broken glass or something.
The Dagger River is so named because the landforms that it makes kind of resemble a dagger.
That's nowhere near as much fun as trying to avoid being stabbed to death by flowing glass. Okay.
Very true.
So I don't know if north or south, whichever way I think would be sort of closer to the way back up into our district of Sharn.
So, through we'll call this north.
If west is right, then it should be north.
Okay.
West is
Yeah.
left. Yep.
So looking from over the edge to the north, you see this collapsed section. That doesn't look like a great place to go down, because the footing is really uneven.
Can I just point out my character has the worst perception in the world, so he might not actually notice that. I'm going to actually roll a perception check. Oh, I got an nat 20, so he does notice that. So
Meanwhile,
I would go south then.
yeah, towards this end, there's an actual, like, the Colorock Hall is mostly intact towards the south. And so there is actually, like, a roof that you could walk over. And it's relatively flat.
Well, this looks like our best path down. So having tied off the rope, I guess I will throw the end down. Then I begin to climb and wait to see. I am probably, with my armor and everything, like the heaviest one here. So, like I said, it makes sense for me to go first since I'll be testing the knots.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the knots are not good.
Luckily, it was only a DC 2 check.
So, you guys have 100 feet of rope?
Yep.
Okay. So before you start going down, once you toss the rope over, you would see that the rope is shy of actually hitting the ground.
Yeah, that was sort of clear that was gonna be a little bit of a problem.
If you want to give me a perception check, I can tell you roughly what your character thinks the gap is.
11.
All right, so I'll give it to you in the chat.
No, you said hitting the ground. Aren't we trying to land on the roof?
Well, okay, so yes, the roof is the ground.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm referring to.
Okay. Just making sure I wasn't confused somewhere.
Well, the good news is I'm pretty sure if Solana's not carrying the kid, she could just drop from the bottom of the rope to the roof. Fine. The bad news is she will be carrying the kid, and Jovar, you and I are not as good at jumping long distances.
How far is it?
About 20 feet.
I feel good after that rest. I should be fine.
Well, at least there's some optimism. I'll go first, see how the rope holds up. And I'm going to start doing my best to rappel my way down.
All right, give me an athletics check.
That's actually not bad. 14.
Okay. So, not too bad. Oh, I forgot my dice box. 1 second. I gotta make some rolls.
He had more of that spicy chicken. He just keeps eating it. It hurts him, but he does it anyway.
I didn't hear him actually initially say he had to go get his dice box. So I just thought he was off to the kitchen to make rolls.
That's why I heard.
I'll be back in about 45 minutes once I put these things in the oven.
Okay. The rope holds, and you manage to get to the edge.
It's only 20 feet. You'll be fine.
Yeah, it's not like I have a lot of choice anyway. But I just wanted to see. Unfortunately, no.
Don't know.
I am just going to drop.
Okay.
Don't two of you have a feather falling token?
That's true. I think I did get a feather falling token.
Yeah, I remember one of you got one.
Oh yeah. Which one of you guys has it?
Not me.
Let's see. Yeah, I have it. So is
All
that
right.
good for one use?
Yeah. So,
I'll use it.
okay. So as you drop, you begin at a fast free fall, but immediately your fall begins to slow, and you kind of like a leaf, and you lightly, your feet hit the bottom, or rather the top of the roof.
Does the feather falling token only work on one person?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Because it was going to just be like a head slapping moment if it actually just casts feather fall.
Yeah.
Now, okay, the rest of you climb.
Well, So the feather falling token, it looks to be like it's a very small plank of wood, kind of like a charm almost. It's with carvings of feathers in it, and there's like this small little ruby, and the ruby has turned black and actually has is starting to crumble.
So I would still pocket the now used token and signal to everyone else that my knots have held up, as I knew they would.
Okay, Cole, hold on tight. And I start making my way down.
And as they climb, I am going to ready an action to cast Blade Ward in case anyone falls.
Oh,
Okay.
Specifically on, I know that she can take more of a fall than the kid can, so I'd specifically be targeting the kid if they fall.
yeah. This is going to
Okay.
get real confusing because now there's 2 kids.
That's true, but he's so much older than you that at 9.
Yeah, yeah.
It did sort of occur to me that there were now 2 kids, one of whom is like 18-ish, one of whom is now 9. But I will, in deference to you, refer to the other one as the kid.
I think the problem is you're not sure which one of us is the 18-year-old and which one of us is the 9.
See, it's easy for me to keep in mind because I kind of imagine Cole developing a crush on you. And that would be super creepy if he was the 18-year-old.
It's only pedophilia if the man's in it.
So as you begin climbing over the edge, the dog kind of looks over the edge and kind of whimpers a little bit and watches you guys very intently. Give me an athletics check.
Okay. That's not terrible. Let me look at my character sheet. Athletics, correct?
Yeah.
That is a 15 then.
Okay. The rope seems to hold.
I am also
You-
readying an action to blame the Reavers for cutting the ropes if my knots fail.
Damn Reavers!
Jofar, what are you doing while Solana is climbing?
Watching, and then I'll just watch to make sure nothing comes up from behind us.
All right. So, Sharp and Jofar, give me perception checks.
5.
16.
Okay. Message coming to Jofar.
Dun dun dun! As the now possessed Cass pulls out a machete and approaches him slowly from behind.
Okay. So I yelled to Solana, watch out, there's shades.
I beg your pardon? How high up am I still?
You've only gone about 30 feet.
And there's
By this
50
point.
more to go.
Silhana. Uh-oh.
Nat 20, take all the damage.
Uh-oh.
Oh, jeez.
It wasn't at 20. It was a confirmed crit.
Yep.
I wasn't planning on that. I don't know why. I should have been.
Right. You brought out the dice tower, I assume.
Yep.
Yep.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So my third character death in 3 weeks.
All right. So now the percentile. Yikes.
It's
Okay.
100.
So, Solana, at the last moment, you see these shades converge like they're all coming towards you, but they converge at a point just shy of you. And as they do, you can see each one kind of is like, you can see almost like a hint of their face before they had died, their spirits. But as they converge, the face of Janice comes over all of them and shouts, "You'll not take him!" and passes right through you, and you feel this absolute cold clutch at your heart, and it's so shocking that it causes the breath to catch in your throat as you're going, and your muscles suddenly become rigid and then lose all sensation as you take 36 necrotic damage,
Oh, good.
1 level of exhaustion, and have to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay, so I have 9 vitality points left. A Constitution saving throw. That's 4.
Oh,
That's not
so
gonna be much.
wait a minute. Any attack that would go over your hit points into vitality points hit point damage doesn't bleed over into vitality points.
Okay, so I'm just down to 0 hit points.
Right.
Good. Okay.
And then what was your Constitution saving throw?
4.
Okay. So also your maximum hit point total is reduced by the same amount.
That's good.
0?
Yeah.
I'm playing in vitality for the rest of the game.
And because of all of that, you need to make another athletics check with disadvantage.
I have 2
because
levels of exhaustion.
Yes, 2 levels of exhaustion.
That's a 6.
And you begin to fall.
Whee! Shit.
And I
Now
cast
it's-
Blade Ward, only
Yes.
now realizing that it only applies to weapon attacks.
Because I just hold the kid close because I don't.
But you know
think-
what? If you want to use an action point,
Yeah.
you can you can make a choice with an action point. You can well, first before I make an offer, Kurt, what would you think an action point would? What are your thoughts if you were to use an action point with this?
Um,
You might be able to save the kid.
Like, what would Blade Word first? Let's think about what would Blade Word look like. How would it change in terms of visual effect for you?
not sure what it looks like normally. I mean, I would tend to assume that just sort of based on how I kind of imagine, I don't really know a lot about my patron, but how I kind of imagine it works, that it's the kind of thing where I would cast the spell and then as they fell, like vines and foliage would begin to form a bed underneath the one who was about to hit. And so that's what would protect them from the damage. But I mean, okay, so an easy one. I have to say this is what I would have asked for if spending an action point. I would have asked for Blade Ward to first of all cover non-weapon damage in this case. Second, cover both of them.
Okay.
They'd have resistance to the fall damage. I, of course, am unaware that how many vitality points Solana has. Probably unaware that she's or half dead at this point at 0 HP. She is way up there, and my eyesight is not really that good. I just saw a spirit fly through her, and it knocked her off the rope.
That's a lot of damage.
So, so yeah, you could certainly apply Blade Word to both of them. So then it looks like these vines sort of create a bed and maybe even fly up towards them to try and meet them in their fall. So that was 80 minus 30 is 50 feet.
Yep.
I would still allow, you're not incapacitated, Solana, so you'd still be able to use benefit from the 20-foot reduction.
Okay.
If you wanted to use an action point, you could include the kid with that.
Yeah, I have to include the kid with it. I can't just let him fall like that. I don't know how little health he has.
Okay. All right. 16 damage divided by 2 for resistance is 8.
Okay.
Let me look and see what kids' hit points are. Okay, so the kid from the impact is knocked out, doesn't seem to be responsive.
Oh no.
Solana, you managed to protect yourself and combined with Sharp's quick thinking with the Blade Ward. So the kid doesn't seem to be responsive, but you also are kind of all in the moment, unable to do more than a cursory glance. You just can see that his eyes aren't open right now. There's not even time at the moment to check for breathing because we're rolling initiative.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say everybody goes before me because this creature rolled a natural 1 on their initiative roll.
We tried.
As we discuss player character deaths in this episode.
All right. So, Jofar, you're up. Sharp on deck. Solana in the hole.
So I see them falling. And are
yes.
they cut? Are
And
they cut?
Yeah, so Sharp manages to summon forth these vines that shoot up towards them and begin to break their fall. Meanwhile, Solana is grabbing at the rope and the wall as best she can, which also slows their descent noticeably, but they still hit the roof pretty hard. And Solana, you also hit prone.
Okay. Can't remember these shadow things. Is basically non-magical weapons probably not going to hurt them, are they?
Well, they probably have resistance rather than immunity.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know what these things are.
Yeah, I mean, does it look like a shadow, or does it look like it has a physical form? I can't remember.
It does. It has the upper body, the very humanoid. You can see the face is very similar to the Janus personality mask that would cover Cole whenever the Janus personality would talk. But its lower half seems to fade into a kind of just a ghostly trail.
None of this would have happened if Kaz hadn't been singing for 12 hours and lost his voice.
All right. Yeah, I just probably let's see if I can shoot him with my bow. I don't know if that's going to do anything, but.
Do you want to mark him with your
Hunter's mark?
Hunter's mark?
Yeah, I've never used it, so I might as well use it. Oh, that's a pretty good roll. 21.
That's a hit.
Let's see. All right. D6. So, ooh boy, three piercing damage and 3 hunter's mark damage. So 6.
Does that include your dexterity bonus?
Yep. Rolled minimum damage.
Nice. All right. So the arrow seems to kind of pass right through it, but you notice that it does wince as that happens. Also, what does it look like when you use your hunter's mark?
What does it look like?
It might not even have any visual component, maybe just something that you do leading up to it. Oh, my internet is unstable. I need to connect it.
It gets a 9-cat rainbow coming out of the creature when you use Hunter's Mark. You can follow it forever now.
So I have like a pendant that around my neck that I rub, and that's the hunter's mark.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Sharp up, Selena on deck, monster in hole.
So where is the shade? There's more than one. Where are the shades?
Oh no, there's only one. They all converged into a single thing.
How far away is that from me?
It's still relatively close to where it struck Solana, so that would be about 50 feet up. Yeah.
So I'm going to use my bonus action to hex it, which in my case, you begin to see almost, it looks like a purple arcane fire, a dark purple that begins to swell in my eyes and curl out. And then a purple mist just begins to converge around the creature and disappears as it seems to go into it. But then I'm going to hold my action, take my longsword out and wait, because I'm assuming it's still coming for the kid. I'm going to attack when it's ready, the action to attack when it gets close.
Okay. Solana.
How far is the kid from me?
Still in your arms.
Still in my arms? Do I feel a heartbeat?
That would be a medicine check.
Yep.
And that would be an action.
That's all I can do, actually. Because all I can do is stand up with my movement. So I'm going to do a medicine check to see if he's still alive.
Okay.
If he's good. Oh, and I have disadvantage on this. Oh, natural 20 and I got disadvantage. Oh, it's a natural 20 anyway. So that's a total of 24.
Okay, so with a double natural 20 on a disadvantage, not only do you assess that the kid is in pretty bad condition, his heart, he does still have a pulse, he is still breathing, but he has a pretty severe head wound and is bleeding. But with that, you can actually go ahead and get not only a medicine check or medicine kit usage in there to patch him up, but also heal him to quite enough to stabilize him.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Need to make sure he's okay. Oh, poor kid.
And oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask, what's the medicine kit thing again? The check for it?
You don't need to make a check for it. You have the medicine kit, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Wait, did you have it, or do you just have the proficiency? I forget.
I have a healer's kit, is what it's called. I have it.
Okay.
With,
Perfect.
9 uses left.
Okay, perfect. Because I was still going to allow healing without it, just not as much.
Yep.
But because he's an NPC, we don't need to worry about actual numbers or anything.
Okay.
All right, so the Janus shrieks, his face twisted in rage, and he looks directly at Sharp and starts heading towards you, Sharp. So as he gets close enough, you can go ahead and use your held action.
21 to hit.
Hits.
That is 5 damage. Also minimum damage. But it is it does count as magical.
All right.
Oh, I didn't
So-
roll my d6. Oh, there you go. It's 11 damage. 6 necrotic.
Okay.
That it might be resistant to, though.
Yeah, it reels from your sword attack. You're using a sword at this point, right?
Yep.
The additional energies of the curse don't seem to have any additional effect on it, though. And then
Well, I also have hexed its wisdom, so.
good to know.
He doesn't realize that it didn't have an effect on him.
So it goes to lash out at Sharp. Rolled a natural 1. Confirmed the critical fail.
See, it's the curse. I hexed him.
Yeah.
Fucked him up.
So as it tries to strike you, Sharp, you see a very familiar figure jump in front of you, and this incorporeal creature hits against it. There's a flash of energy, and it screams and it bounces back away from you. So you can actually get an attack of opportunity.
That is not as good. I got a 10.
Okay, so you miss with your attack of opportunity. But yeah, it's bounced off what the figure that came between you two.
So yeah, I would step in front of the figure and then sort of prepare for the next assault by the creature. But with my free hand, I would still sort of reach back and just sort of say like, "Thanks, doll," and like just let her pat my hand.
What do you mean? You were imagining it was Shaw? It was Joe Farr there.
Truly a nightmare. I am haunted by a second Joe Farr.
Meanwhile, the blink dog is barking up a storm, and actually blinks away from Jofar and reappears right next to the kid and Solana, and begins licking the kid's face. And also gives Solana a couple of licks as well.
How much does that heal?
Be careful. I saw a video not too long ago about a guy that got his face licked by a dog and ended up dying. So.
Oh no.
Yeah. If roll a Constitution save with disadvantage.
Oh shit. That's a 5.
To see if you catch the dog flesh-eating disease.
And then and Cass yells from his familiar's voice, "Sorry guys, I can either take care of the spirit or keep the kid protected. I can't do both." Jofar, your turn.
There are a lot of birds around.
No, not that you can hear or see.
Okay. All right.
Were you gonna make some animal friends?
He's not talking about animals, he's talking about the band The Birds. Are any of the members around?
Oh.
I guess I'll just shoot at him again.
All right.
Damn. 22.
Hit.
Let's see, that would be 6 piercing and 3 hunter's mark.
Nice. So the arrow sails through the figure once again, but you can see it visibly like wince, and the area where it passes through leaves kind of a hole that takes a while much longer for it to kind of reform and fill in with this kind of mist-like substance that creates it. All right, Sharp, you're up. Solana on deck. Monster in the hole. You muted.
I'll advance and attack. Actually, let me just see one thing. What the heck? I'm going to also use, as a bonus action, use my Baleful Curse. So it'll be Hexed and Baleful Cursed.
Okay.
And then, this is the second time I've used my Baleful Curse. But if you steal my kill, Jofar, I get... I got a nat 20.
Oh, roll to confirm.
I got 10. So I did not confirm.
No, but it's still max damage.
That's good. It's 13 slashing damage and 6 necrotic.
So go ahead and describe how it ceases.
So after it stumbles back after encountering my wife, which many men have done in the past after making that mistake, it is still reeling as I step up and I just slam my sword through where its heart would be. And you see it begins to disintegrate like it's made of dust blowing away in a breeze that seems to have picked up suddenly.
And as it's blowing away, you can hear Janice's voice shout, "No, the child! We needed him to complete our..." And then it fades before it can finish.
Then after taking a second, I would yell up, "Jofar, get your ass down here."
Watch that first step. It's a doozy.
All right.
All right, give me an athletics check.
Now, you know that knots will slip now. Now that
22.
Jofar's on the case.
They do not slip.
Well, Jofar makes it to the bottom of the rope.
All right.
Now you have to
20-foot
jump.
drop.
Just
Yeah,
jump it
just-
down.
Yeah, just jump down. Is that athletics or no? It's a nothing.
Just fall. So you take 8 damage from the fall and land prone.
Did he land on me or the kid? We're still
I assume
right
you
under
guys
there.
moved out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had time.
Okay, good.
And now it's Cass's turn.
I look up at the rope and say, if we come back here, we might want to bring a ladder. Might be the better way to get back in.
The 80-foot long ladder.
We only have to get up 20 feet to get to the bottom of the rope and then climb up is what I was thinking.
So Cass manages to get down okay. He jumps down, takes a little boo-boo as he does, but the rope held amazingly. So you guys are now on the roof.
For how long are my hit points reduced to 0 for? Is it permanently because of the natural 20?
It's not permanent.
For a while, though.
But it's going to feel like it.
Yep.
Now, first of all, are any of you trained in religion?
I am.
Okay. You can make a religion check to determine what that thing might have been.
13.
Okay. So you would guess that that thing was some kind of specter, but it was a little different. It seemed like it wasn't just Janice, but there were several others that had joined with him to empower him to the point of being able to manifest like that.
I think
If you had to guess, you would probably think that whatever Cass is doing also limited the effect, the ability of the thing to manifest, which is why it required what it did.
Oh, that's good. I'd have hate to get hit by a natural 20 from one that is fully manifested.
It's because it wasn't a shadow. They're the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Kurt vicariously still has PTSD through
I do.
via Ivor.
I do.
So the maximum hit point damage lasts until you finish a long rest.
Well, that's going to be about 24 hours until I can do that. 16. Yep. So, are there any other things floating around? Any shades? Any sounds around us?
None that you can see. Okay. If you want, you can go ahead and give me a perception roll just to be doubly sure.
Doubly sure in my dazed state. That's a 7.
Yeah, you're absolutely. Actually, you think you see out of the corner of your eye some more shades that might be coming, but every time you go to look at them, nothing's there.
That's what shades do.
Yeah, like the weeping angels from Doctor Who. Okay, I think we should get out of here, guys.
Well, there may be another drop ahead. We are on a roof. So I'm going to start walking around looking for an easy way down.
There ain't no easy way out.
So it looks like it's another probably 20, 25 feet down. But there's also that collapsed roof. You go there. It looks like you could maybe kind of shimmy across a wall to get to a pile of rubble that looks like it might hold your weight, and kind of get your way down kind of haphazardly.
Yeah, or Solana, it's only like 25 feet. You could probably just jump.
Yeah. I could.
But I don't know about the kid.
Oh, he'll be fine. He's in my arms. What's the worst that could happen?
You could not have another action point to apply your slow fall to him.
Oh, he'll be fine. Crunch.
Right. You'll just like hold him like rigid arms and he'll break his spine when he hits the ground. I am going to try to make my way over to the thing that I'm hoping supports my weight. Again, with the armor being sort of the heaviest of the group. If it can hold me, it can hold the rest of them.
All right.
He said optimistically.
Give me an acrobatics check.
That's 10.
So you immediately encounter, as you're kind of shimmying across the ledge, you immediately encounter a soft spot that crumbles beneath your feet, and you begin to slip. Give me an athletics check.
It's a 16.
Okay. You manage to catch yourself, but you're hanging on just by one hand as the rest of your body is swinging from this one spot that you managed to kind of keep a hand on the ledge of the roof with quite a drop below you.
Does it look like do I have to climb up, or is there anywhere else I could try to jump to?
No, you'd have to pull yourself up, or someone would have to try and help you pull yourself up.
Hearing
I
no help
guess I'll come
coming.
Don't look at us. We don't know what's going on.
So I guess that we would see him like fall.
Yeah.
To his
So
death.
cautiously walk over there because I don't want to fall on him.
As he imagines himself instead, only a two-way split now.
Yeah, so the way I kind of imagine it, so that you guys can kind of picture it, the roof does have a ledge that's kind of waist high, right? And where the roof kind of collapses in, it meets this ledge, and this ledge is still there. It's still connected to the outer wall. And the outer wall at this point still seems up, even though the ceiling has collapsed in, and there's a little ledge kind of extending from it that Sharp could still put his feet down on and kind of walk along that while he's holding on to this waist high ledge from the roof. And what happened was that one of these spots gave way and he fell, but he was able to catch himself on the ledge of this thing. So that's how he is. So he's a couple of feet. So Sharp, he's a couple of feet away from the ledge where the roof is. So where the roof is collapsed. So your floor, it's broken, and there's a couple of feet, and then he's hanging along the wall. Does that make sense? How I described that?
Mm. Yeah, my story is a little section of the ledge crumbled. It definitely wasn't my ass. It was just too big, causing me to be pushed away from the wall a little too much. I'd slip. But I am going to try to swing and then swing out an arm and catch Joe Farr's arm. I assume Joe Farr is offering an arm. Otherwise, I'm going to swing and probably fall.
Yeah, I'm trying to help him.
All right. Give me an athletics check, Kurt and Peter.
I got a 24.
6. How many action points do we have?
One. And you're the only one with any action points right now.
Let's use it.
All right.
Oh boy,
What'd you roll?
a 9.
I feel like I with just body weight and equipment, I've got to be close to 300 pounds. I feel like maybe I just yank you off the ledge.
Yeah. So what happened is the action point, even though you rolled low, Peter, Joe Farr was still able to catch Sharp. But because Sharp was swinging and because he is so heavy and you weren't necessarily braced for it, he did pull you down. And now Sharp is hanging from your arm while you are face first with your chest up in danger, over the ledge. So like all those movies where the person's falling and then somebody dives and gets them with their arm, and they're kind of half hanging off with their legs. Yeah, that's what you're doing right now.
Yeah, and do I know how much this armor weighs?
I mean, you're a military man. You have a good
I know it's not
idea.
just the armor, so okay.
He does have a backpack full of stuff as well.
Hmm. And he has an 18 strength, so I imagine he was like closer to 170 pounds on his own.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
So I'm going to try to climb up over the top of Joe Farr.
Probably a good call.
Okay. Give me an athletics check.
It's an 18.
Okay. So you're able to start climbing up, but Joe Farr, you're not anchored to anything. So give me just not even athletics, just a pure strength check.
Acrobatics check. Balance on your penis.
12.
Okay. So you start slipping forward as Sharp is trying to climb up you.
I
Can
run
I-
over and jump on his legs.
Can I reach and get my hammer out and like try to drive it into something to like as
Drive
an
it into
anchor?
Sharp's head so he
Yeah,
stops
that's
climbing
what,
up.
that's what I was thinking. Like Sharp.
Yeah, you can go ahead and do that. So with that, give me an attack roll and also roll damage.
For Sharp's skull.
Yeah.
That's a 9.
What's the hardness of Sharp's skull?
All right. So you try and do it. Your hammer just bounces off the roof, though. You weren't able to find any kind of purchase for the hooked end of your hammer. And so you are slipping forward. Solana dives to try and catch you.
Yep.
So Solana, give me an athletics check.
TPK from disadvantage. That's a 2. No, a 3.
So Solana, you trip, and now you are starting to come over the edge as well.
How much fall damage do I take?
Well, nobody's
I
Slapping
seen
my
any
head on the
yet.
pavement.
I still do like to imagine that as Sharp was climbing up over the top of Joe Farr. Joe Farr just was like taking his hammer and trying to whack.
TPK from roof collapse.
Hey, I
All
might
right.
be fine.
Well, you can't
No.
go beyond your vitality points.
No,
So-
I'm not. I didn't get hit yet. Got 34 hit points.
So now we're gonna start with Sharp. Give me an athletics check.
It's 22.
Okay. So you're continuing to climb. Jofar, do you want to continue with the hammer?
Yeah, let me try the hammer again.
Okay. Another attack roll.
Oh yeah, 5.
Bounces right off.
Yep,
It is hard to swing when you've got a like 300 pounds of man climbing up your back.
exactly.
That's what I like.
And then Solana, give me another athletics check.
With disadvantage. Yep, that's a 1.
All right.
Good thing I left the kid with the dog.
So Sharp, you were
Shane
climbing
should have
up.
just waited.
I know. What was I thinking? Trying to be useful.
So Sharp, you are beginning to climb Jofar, oblivious to the fact that you're also pulling him down. And you guys all end up falling. It's only 20 feet.
But
But the kid's up there.
The kid's still safe. He's with the dog.
The kid is up there.
We gotta go back.
And
We got to go all the way back around, up through the tower again, over the broken glass. back down the rope.
Now, the thing is, though, Solana, you're going to be fine.
Oh, I will.
Well,
You got slow fall.
I
Yeah.
did get a nat 1, though, as well.
but you're not incapacitated.
Yes.
But you know what? Because you're landing in a heap with all these people, you'll take one damage.
Okay. Oh, shit. I just realized. We don't know if the Reavers actually came back into this place, because we've been in there for like 3 days, so they might all be back in the room again. Depending on where we are, like the dining room or something.
Oh, I
Yeah.
assume we didn't clear out all the Reavers
We
the
didn't.
first
yeah.
time.
Exactly. But there was one group that ran away.
Right.
So
That's why I didn't want to
they
go
might be
back
back.
through everything and preferred
Yeah.
climbing down the side.
we don't happen to be near the dining room, do we? Because I would know this.
I'll show you guys where you're landing in a minute.
Okay.
Now, Sharp, not only are you falling 20 feet, but you have 2 people landing on top of you. So you're gonna take
Not his
an
first
extra
time.
2d6 damage from those people landing on you. So you take 13 fall damage total. Jofar, you have Solana landing on you.
Wouldn't be the first time.
So you're taking 13 damage as well.
Well, I'm sorry for showing up.
And Solana, you land gracefully on top of Sharp and Jofar.
These two just crumbled in a heap, and I just land, do a little ballerina pose. And
Yeah, I imagine there was a plie involved at the end.
Yeah. Just, woo. Oh, God.
So, and it was a mix of bludgeoning and piercing damage because there's also a bunch of broken glass here
Oh, no.
as well.
I couldn't it have been
And-
force damage? Oh, by the way, I took the approach of shielding.
So you guys land in. So here's the map once again. So you guys kind of land right here ish,
Mhm.
which this was the dining room here. And all of this area is going to be treated the same as when you guys were in the broken glass area, because it's all very unstable, lots of rubble as well as broken glass. From where you guys are, the kid and Cass both look down from the ledge, as well as the dog, and the kid goes, Are you guys okay?"
Use Blinky
Yeah,
to help
I'm
get over
sure
the edge.
there would definitely be, I'm clearly still prone, so there'll probably be an, yeah, we're fine.
And then the kid would say, "Come on, Blinky," and then they would all 3 of them flash down into this space right here, kind of looking at you guys and waiting.
And
So
I'll say, forgot the blink dog could do that.
And then yeah, so you guys have about 15 feet of rubble and broken glass to walk through.
Okay, so it's going to take me 2 checks because I have half movement speed.
Oh. Well, wait a minute.
No, I'm a monk. I should be fine, actually.
Half your movement speed would be
20
30 feet.
20 for me.
So it's 15 feet, but if you got increased movement speed,
Yeah, I do. Yeah, so I can do it in 1. Yay!
Okay, so
I guess I'll go
Yes.
first because I'm on top.
hold on one second.
I mean, I do lose half my movement standing up from prone.
That is true.
Oh yeah, so half your move. So you're standing up. Well, actually, you're not prone because you didn't take any damage.
I did from the fall.
Oh, you technically took 1 damage,
Yep.
but you still landed on top of Sharp and Jofar. So Solana, we'll start with you because they need you to get off them so that they can move.
This can take some work.
So go ahead and give me an acrobatics check.
Okay. Oh, really? We're doing fucking disadvantage? That was a natural 20. It's a natural 1. 120, 1.
So-
I'm keeping it balanced here.
So the normally graceful Solana takes a step off of Jofar's ass and immediately eats it, slipping into some glass, landing prone, and also taking 4 slashing and piercing damage.
Sounds about right. This wouldn't have happened if Joe's butt wasn't so big.
Jofar, you can go ahead and get up. Give me a dexterity check to move through this.
Dexterity or acrobatic?
Acrobatics.
17.
Okay. So you carefully move through 5 feet of the rubble. Go ahead and give me another one.
14.
You manage to get through this 5 feet. The last 5 feet, you can taste it.
Maybe. 13.
And you make it through. Sharp.
I will stand up and make an athletics check or acrobatics check.
Couldn't you just
12.
jump it? I mean, it's 15 feet and you have 18 strength.
You could try, but you're on not stable ground.
Okay.
So by exerting that force through your feet, you might cause yourself to slip.
Right. Also, without a running start, I think I would only cover 9 feet.
Oh, yeah. I thought you had that feat for a second for some reason.
All right, so Sharp, you make it through the first 5 feet.
And then I will try to make it the rest of the way. That's a natural 1.
Okay, so the second you lose footing, and you fall, and you take 4 piercing and slashing damage from the glass and rubble.
Okay. And then I will try to get up again. That's a natural 20.
All right, so you make it look easy now after getting all banged up the first time. You learned your lesson.
Yeah, I think I got the hang of this now.
Solana, you still have 10 feet to make it through.
Yep, and I have to first get up, which uses half my movement speed, so I have nothing left. And then I can begin. First 5 feet with disadvantage, of course. Oh, okay. Well, that's going to be a 6.
How many vitality points do you have left?
5.
Oh god. Well, you can't die this one.
No, but next. We'll see. Still disadvantage.
You take 1 piercing and slashing damage.
Oh, shit. I meant to say I have 4 vitality points left, so I actually have 3.
Oh god, you could have died.
I could have. Okay, and
All right,
one more check, right?
Last one.
Well, that's terrible. Oh, really? Another natural 1? Why am I here?
Okay. Before I roll this, Jofar and Sharp, you guys are both watching Solana struggle through this. You know how badly hurt she is. She is cut. She's bleeding. She is bruised up, and you see her begin to slip forward, and you see a large chunk of glass jutting up right where her jugular would be if she goes horizontal. So each of you has one reaction to try and do something.
I don't really have anything I can normally do on a reaction that would be all that useful. If I had an action point, many options.
Well, tell me how, in this moment, as if you're Sharp, you don't really have time to think. What might Sharp attempt? Say
Oh,
I know exactly what he would do. What he would do, even if it's not a reaction and he would wind up failing, he almost certainly at that moment would try to dive under her. But I'm not really sure how far away she is.
Oh, she's only 5 feet away.
Yeah.
It's
Then he
literally
definitely-
flat 5 feet.
He definitely would try to I mean, he's wearing armor, and first of all, but he would definitely try to jump into this piece of glass that's going to hit her jugular, realizing he's going to take damage, but he's going to hit it from the side.
Right. Okay.
He's not jumping jugular first to plant his neck on it.
I'll save you!
Okay. So given that, you can take the damage instead of Solana. So you'll take. How will we do this? So we're gonna make 2 D4 rolls. So we're gonna do a D4 plus 2. That's the maximum damage that you will take, Sharp. And then I will roll another D4, and that'll be subtracted. No, that doesn't work. Try and
D4
think of an
plus 2
interesting.
for my damage, and then he goes ahead and
Yes. So D4 plus 2 to see what Solana could potentially take, and then another D4 will be what you absorb, Sharp.
Okay.
So first one. So it's 4.
Well,
So the most damage that Solana can take is 3. She could still die. Now we're going to see how much we're taking away from that.
don't roll a 1. It's a 1.
4.
Oh, hey, I'm fine.
So Sharp, you take the entire 4 damage. Solana is completely protected. Solana, for the second time in as many minutes, you're finding yourself landing on Sharp.
Every time, I swear. I kind of crawl off him onto the floor.
Yeah.
Just lay there for a minute.
So I will start to get up, picking bits of glass out of my face as I do, and then try to make it out of the square. Do I need to make another acrobatics check?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Kind of crawling away slowly.
How many vitality points do you have?
Me?
Yeah.
3 left.
So if I cast Good Berry and give her 7 good berries, which you would have 10 vitality points?
Yep,
Okay.
correct.
All right. Okay, that's what I do. I keep 3 more. I have 3 more. 3 left.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Solana, you are now at 10 vitality points.
Hooray!
Jofar and Sharp, how are you guys doing on hit points?
I have 13 hit points.
I got 15.
All right. So now, amazingly, you guys are there with the entrance being right in front of you.
Do we hear anything coming from the dining room or any other noises?
Make a perception check. Anyone can make one.
Well, I got a 1.
That's a 5 for me.
10.
No, a 6.
All I can hear is the sound of me picking broken glass out of my face.
Yeah. And the humming that is coming from Cass.
He's very loud.
So the front hall to Coal Rock Hall is right in front of you guys. Doesn't appear like there's anybody outside.
Yeah, we need to get the hell out of here.
Yep. Is the kid still here?
Yeah.
So we
The
know
kid
of a-
is actually kind of riding the blink dog, but in a way that he's laying down across the blink dog's back, like face down, like barely hanging onto consciousness.
Oh, good.
Do we know we got here that one night through a sort of back way, so we don't have to walk down like the main thoroughfare where all the Reavers are hanging out. I would suggest we go that way.
So I take out a good berry, give it to Solana to tell her to give it to the kid.
I'll give the kid a good berry because he's a good boy.
So the kid takes it, eats it, seems to be visibly somewhat better. Probably the first good meal he's had in quite some time. So he does look a little bit better. He's still very tired and weary, so he's still lying on the dog that way. But the dog's big enough that it seems to be carrying the kid with no real issue.
Okay. We'll get something to eat when we're done.
And so, Kurt, you were saying that you didn't want to go through the front entrance right here?
I mean, what I was saying was I don't see any reason we don't have to go back in right now. So I was saying that we found the first time we came here, we came down kind of like the main road, the obvious way to get here.
Oh,
we
right.
were attacked by Reavers. The second time we came here, we found like a back route that Anna, I forget her name, the cleric told us about.
Fayella.
Yeah, Phala.
So I was saying we should take that route to get out of here so that we don't encounter, hopefully, more Reavers on the way out.
Time for stealth checks at disadvantage.
Should we just head straight to her?
Well, yeah. Do you actually say that?
Yeah.
Then I would say, if you mean Fayella, why the fuck would we go see Fayella? We're fine. We don't need her. We need to go find a temple of the Seven so we can get an exorcism for this kid.
And I just walk over and pick another piece of glass out of your face. Are you sure?
Yeah, I prefer my clerics to be non-cultists.
They're all cultists. Just pick one.
Oh, there goes Serene.
Look, there are gods, and then there are people who worship silver fire.
For everything else,
Cult.
Mastercard.
I define cult as you worship something that's not even alive.
None of them are alive.
I'm pretty sure the gods are alive.
No, they're not.
They're dead on the inside.
Well, they seem to be very powerful, nevertheless, unlike the Silver Fire, which is mostly just a cult.
What do you mean you worship? You worship Tom? He's just a cult.
Well, you know where this church is.
I mean, I'm sure I'm aware of where there's a Church of the Seven.
Wait, you mean the sovereign host?
Yeah.
There's 9 of them.
Okay.
We don't count 2 of them though. They're not very good gods.
So,
Yeah. Those other 2 are cults.
Fuck on Atar.
That would be an amazing clerical paladin to play where you believe all the other gods are just cults.
We're in pretty bad shape. We just need to get to one. Use some of their healing mojo.
So I'm
I think
going to
I'll
walk
stay here.
ahead. Yeah, I agree. It's not worth standing here arguing over who the true gods are, as if there's an actual argument to be had about that. I walk on.
All right, so what direction are you heading in, Sharp?
I mean, I would be headed kind of in the direction of Church of the Silver Flame. You know, back to the sort of, it's all the fallen, but there's the less safe part of the fallen and the more safe part. So, you know, back
Right.
towards the path that would get us out of the fallen.
So the path towards Phala would also be, in general, the path towards that that pub that you are aware of. You have that relationship with the proprietor.
Right. I mean, for right now, my priority is I would be trying to beeline to the closest Church of the Sovereign Host I know of. And I assume that takes us sort of back through that area because that seems to be like the first place we arrived in when we got down here.
Yeah. Unless would your character have any particular special reason to have knowledge about Fallen?
I mean, other than relative to some parts of the city, I would think yes, in that we've been running this agency for a while, and I imagine the clients we're getting, if we can't pay our rent, must be the poorer ones. So I feel like the lower class districts are probably what we're most familiar with.
Okay.
I assume you just drank the money away.
But as you know, as opposed to any of the other lower class districts, not necessarily.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a history check.
12.
Okay. You're not sure which direction you would need to head towards any kind of sovereign host church in this area. The closest one that you know of is closer to your own district where where your investigative offices are. So you could head in that direction. It would take you towards Phala and the pub anyways.
Yeah, that's what I would have done. I didn't assume there was a Church of the Sovereign Host in the Fallen. Maybe there is, but I wouldn't necessarily know where that is. I was assuming it would be in
Right.
some other district.
The one in the Fallen's a cult.
So while you guys are making this walk, is there anything in particular you guys are doing along the way or trying to discuss or figure out?
I don't think I can use a healer's kit while I'm walking at the same time. So,
Yeah, and I would ask Joe Farr. So you're some sort of weirdo atheist? Is that why they kicked you out of the watch?
Joe Farr just stone faced.
I'll take that as a yes.
I wouldn't say I'm a weirdo.
So many other people do, though. So
That's fine. They can have their own opinions.
yeah, me, I just I try not to fly in the face of popular opinion. So atheist weirdo. You're one of the anybody who doesn't believe that the gods exist has some strangeness about them.
Just some hoodoo magic. All mind tricks.
I'll shake my head at that and walk on in case you get struck by lightning like you deserve.
Well, while we're walking, I'm just using the cleansing stone on everyone so we're not covered in blood.
That's a good call. Yeah, and then you can see where your wounds actually are, especially in Solana's case.
I'm fine. I ate the good berry.
Several fairly deep wounds, but the biggest one is inside that you can't
Yeah.
see from the specter.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
so-
thought you meant her pride.
No, that's been gone for years.
Right. All
You
your
think I
other
made
wounds
money?
will heal, but the wound to your pride will last your entire lifetime.
Yeah, that's been gone for years. Trust me on that one.
As you guys make your way, there are a couple of abandoned buildings that you could potentially take a few minutes in if you wanted to take a short rest along the way.
I mean, I think ordinarily I would press on, but I think that makes sense. Without actually saying why, I would say I need to rest. Why don't we take a break in here?
Oh, you're muted, Josh.
I'm gonna use the healer's kit.
All right. Who enters first? How do you enter? Rats everywhere! No.
Yeah.
Well, it is abandoned. Perception check.
Actually, there are a couple of rats, but none of those giant rats of unusual size.
Doesn't matter. They're drawn to so far, like, you know,
Right.
Yeah.
moths to a
Batman.
light.
So anybody who wants to spend some hit dice to heal some hit points can. Jofar, your spell slot and your Hunter's Mark have recharged.
Well, I mean, I've still got 7 uses of the healer's kit. So I could heal everyone up if we want to do that. And I have to spend hit die.
I mean,
Yeah, you could do that too.
And healer's kits aren't that expensive.
hit dice are free.
Yeah. If you trust you're not going to need them later.
So I have spent 2 of my hit dice, but I am not near my maximum. So if you want to use the healer's kit on me, it would still be effective.
Yeah, I need to use the healer's kit on myself too, just to get my vitality points back.
Yeah, I wouldn't even suggest you treat me until you're looking a little better.
Well, I can only do it once per short rest.
Right.
Let's see here. You spend 1 use of the healer's kit to tend to a creature and restore 1d6 plus 4 hit points plus additional hit points equal to the creature's maximum number of hit die.
So you have 4 hit dice, so you would get an additional 4 hit points.
Yep. So that's 5, 9, and 4, so 13. God, my vitality points are almost back.
How many vitality points you got?
No, that's all my vitality points. Never mind. I don't have anything else. I'm nothing. I'm nothing. Okay, and after that, I'm gonna go to shop and help him out too. And that's 12 hit points you get back. Sharp.
That exactly brings me back to full.
Yay! And how's Joe looking?
I'm all right.
All right. You sure?
Does he look all right?
I got some aloe vera here. That's going to be good for your cuts. Essential oils.
You know, Joe, you do have a nice scar forming around your nose.
You see that too, huh?
Those cool red eyes.
Yeah.
How's the kid looking?
Yeah. And it won't be until like the next full moon that we see whether or not you've permanently changed. Those were normal giant rats.
What's a were-rat? Is that like lawful good, and whenever he goes out, he's just, helping clean up the streets and stuff as a rat?
I actually think it would be hilarious if he turned into a were-rat. Canon.
Lawful good were-rats. They just go around helping people on a full moon.
No, where rat?
I'm going to heal up the kid if I can. I don't know what I can do with him, but, just patch him up a bit.
I mean, you can probably clean the bandages that have already been applied.
Okay.
You've already used the healer's kit on him.
Yep.
So he's not gonna benefit much from another use.
Until after a short rest.
Right, but he's also an NPC, so it works on him a little bit differently.
Oh.
So, I mean, he's still pretty dazed. He's coming in and out of consciousness. It's pretty clear that he probably has a concussion.
I just sit with him and talk to him.
Um,
We're going to get something to eat. It's going to be great. We're going to clean up. You'll love it.
The blink dog seems to have taken a shine to you, Solana.
I need to go back over that book and learn how to speak Blink Dog.
So the time in this house is spent pretty uneventfully. Don't hear anybody coming, no reavers as far as you can tell, trying to hunt you guys down. So once you guys finish taking your short rest, you're welcome to continue heading on over to where you want to head on over.
Yep. I will lead the way again. And assuming we make it that far, I will begin to stride right past that Church of the Silver Flame nonsense.
Yeah, you guys do get back into that area where there's the pub and Fela's the Blackstone Church.
And unless the rest of the party turns to go in, I'm going to continue sailing right past it. Since I'm headed for the Church of the Sovereign Host.
So we know what Sharp is doing as the church comes into view. What about Jofar and Solana?
Honestly, I probably wouldn't know too much about these gods. These aren't my gods, so I'm going to keep following Sharp for the time being. He's smarter than I am.
Okay.
I can tell you don't get a belly that large unless you are.
And Jofar?
Just follow the group. I mean, we're not stopping, so.
All right.
Would you trust your health to a cult?
How are the people around us reacting to the Blink Dog, for the kid riding it?
You know, the Blink Dog, for all intents and purposes, people wouldn't necessarily really even know what a Blink Dog is or be able to differentiate it from a regular dog. It just seems like a very large dog, like almost on the size of a Great Dane. So they would be looking at the dog fairly with some interest and some nervousness, especially since there's a child riding it. What's going to gain more attention is the number of bandages that you guys have and the bloody rags that are covering some of your deeper wounds.
I would assume that's normal for the fallen.
Right. What, normal, yes, but they also know the direction that you came from is right into the heart of Reaver territories, so the looks are more shocked that probably you guys made it with just the wounds that you have.
Well, they can feel that way all they want. What they don't know is we've just led a horde of Reavers back here.
So once you guys start heading out of the district, where are you guys going? Are you heading back to the 4 Dagger Corps offices?
Yeah.
Or
I mean, this is why I asked about the blink dog, because that's what I picture blink dogs as.
yeah, I mean, they do have some features that kind of stand out, but since the kid is lying on top of the blink dog, and it is kind of a little bit more demure, its ears aren't nearly as prominently displayed, and it's not baring its teeth or anything. So, I mean, it is a dog that on closer examination you could tell it's not quite normal, but considering that, you know, this dog is like kind of in your group, and it's more dog to them than it is strange. So they're not focusing too closely on the details that would distinguish it from a dog.
Let's put it this way. Within our group, there's a humming goblin with another small goblin riding him on the shoulder. I don't think the blink dog's the most interesting part of it.
The Pathfinder blink dog's very unusual looking.
Whoa.
Oh, he looks like an old dog.
It looks like a bearded Wolverine type thing.
Looks like me when I forget to shave.
So you guys are able to make it back to your offices fairly easily at this point. So we're getting pretty close to wrapping it up. So is there anything that you guys would want to do, or anything that you would want to explore before we sign off?
I mean, we could start next session with this because I'm beat, but I wouldn't be headed directly back to the office. I really would be going to the church first, because
Okay.
I'm afraid that there might be other spirits. I assume Cass has been still singing this whole time, which is indication enough that there are other things out there that might come for this kid. You know, just because we just seemingly defeated one doesn't mean it's really gone.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, so there's a church not too far from your guys' offices. So we can pick up next time starting out at the church then.
Which
Okay.
church is it?
Church of
Sovereign
the
Host.
Sovereign Host. Specifically, it is a church because not all of the Sovereign Host churches are devoted to the entire Sovereign Host. Some of them take interest in a particular one. So this is going to be Church of Oladra.
Oh, that's a cult. Let's not go to that one.
Yeah, Oladra. All right. additionally, for a nominal fee, they would be able to heal your condition, Solana.
Oh, praise the Omnisire.
Yeah, we would go to the Church of Eladra since that's close, but I'm gonna email you some thoughts I have about that.
God, nothing is ever enough for you guys. I swear.
It's one of the two that isn't a real god.
I know it's a cult.
something different. Sure, it's a cult, but it's not like a Silver Flames level cult.
They got standards.
Right.
Sure, it's a cult, but they also have a nice book.
I told Peter earlier that in your other game, I intend to play sort of devout Silver Flame guy. So
this is a nice little bit of balance then.
right.
All right. So outside of the unfortunate game stoppages and delays and needing to expel the demons, what do people think about tonight?
I got eaten alive. God damn.
I mean, I certainly had fun. I think it's sort of fitting. It's like a theme that it's not so much like the big challenges that are the huge problem for us. It's the traps and failed skill checks.
Yeah. Oh God, when I got disadvantaged on all those skill checks.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that happens,
Yeah, like-
you're in trouble.
Yep.
Like, it's not even so much that the game is gritty. It's that we roll so poorly, so randomly.
Yeah. Yeah, the dice were not in your favor tonight at all.
Mm-mm.
Well,
My dice were everywhere.
one place that
Yeah,
the
I mean-
dice were in favor of you guys was with that rope holding up.
Oh, good.
I made many checks to see if it was gonna collapse or break or whatever. It held.
That's good.
And now Sharp just assumes he's an expert at knots. So anytime there's knots in the future, he is going to step up.
Oh, not this again.
You know, you might be able to, or Silhana might be able to convince Sharp that we actually do need to go get that statue once we wind up spending all of our money trying to get an exorcism for this kid. Or more likely when we discover we don't have enough money to get an exorcism for this kid.
I'm just saying.
Well, you guys
sell the
did
blink
find.
dog.
You guys did find. Well, Jofar. I don't know if he revealed to you guys what he found, but he found some other things. Back in the glass tower.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, we definitely there are certainly things like we could sell. Like we found magic items. I don't know where to sell them, but I imagine we could get enough, at least a fair bit of money for that. We've got these, we get to try to cash 2 very ancient letters of credit. It's like, imagine you turned up at a bank and you're like, I have this check from 1904. Can you please cash this for me?
That's actually really funny because my father has 2 large slips of banknotes, $20,000 worth of Confederate currency.
Yeah,
So it's like, I got $20,000. We can't use it for anything, but it's there.
right. It is probably it's worth something maybe to a collector depending on the condition it's in.
Oh, it's interesting. It's really good.
Right, but at the same time, it's also like this is in a world where dwarves are 500-year-old creatures, so maybe it's not that unusual to have these very ancient notes of credit.
I could pretend I'm an actual full elf instead of a half elf. I might be that old.
You know, we also have the if we can find people who are from or interested in House of Vidalis, we have that book.
Mhm.
And you know, a couple little artifacts from House Vidalis that they might be interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
and we also have that locked box, which we still can't get into.
Right. The one that Joe Farr wanted to smash, and I decided maybe not smash.
Well, once I get thieves' tools, I can help us with this.
Although I actually would say it is entirely fair, just as a final fuck you to Sharp, for you to roll to see if the box got smashed when he fell. He did fall 20. He did fall 20 feet.
let me go back and see what's in the box. What's in the box?
As I land on Sharp's back, delicately leaping off him, my toe just gently touches
Actually,
the box and
right.
it cracks.
Right. It was absolutely fine until the plie when you heard like a snap.
At first, you thought it was your spine.
That's,
2 hours till I can.
It was
leave
in
for the
that. It was in
hospital.
like that kitchen area is where I found it.
Yeah.
yeah. Wait, was it the kitchen area or was it that one bedroom looking place?
It was
Thought it
the
was the
kitchen where we
kitchen.
found the box. That was locked. Just the fucking spice rack.
Oh, okay, I remember now. Let me.
Question: did the kitchen have anything that looked like chicken in it? And do there happen to be 11 herbs and spices in this box?
You have to open it to find out.
Shit.
Okay. Sharp, go ahead and roll a percentile.
This is Kurt using his hustle point for Sunday's game.
With that 82.
Okay. So the lock in the box broke. So you can actually open it now.
Oh, then I would open it.
So
The box is empty.
it's a box full of fine silver, and actually it's like in that nice velvet packaging where it's like made for spots for each of the pieces of silver
Mhm.
for the cutlery and everything. So it looks very fancy. And as far as you can tell, it seems to be true sterling.
Well, now we have a bunch of really nice silverware for the office. Monogrammed with the wrong name in it.
Yeah, or we could just cash it in.
Ugh.
All right, I gotta
Um,
go to bed.
All right.
Talk to
Night,
you later.
everyone.
All right.
Good night,
Take it
dear
easy.
Prince. Now, Peter, you want to talk to me about something.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that. I gotta figure out exactly what I want to do. I've kind of changed my mind a couple times, so I'll get back to you.
Okay. Yeah, just let me know. And there were a few things you wanted to talk about. I don't remember what all they were.
Yeah, but don't worry about it tonight. Well, I'll get back to you.
Okay.
Hope you feel better.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, did it turn out to be bronchitis or whatever?
Yep, that's what it seems like.
Yeah. They give you antibiotics?
I have to go to the ER at 11 p.m. tonight.
Why?
The closest emergency room to me is 2 hours away, and I can't drive at the moment because of how sick I am. So I have to wait for my father to come get me. He has to drive from where the ER is, so he's going to get here at 11, and then we can drive back down.
Why do you have to go to the ER to get the meds?
Because we have no doctor's office up here.
Where are you, like in the middle of nowhere?
Crescent City. It's in Northern California.
Is it just boonies?
It's got a small city, and we have a hospital up here, but the clinic, which is where I can go to, closed down about 6 months ago, and the hospital won't take our insurance. It refuses to take most insurances.
Wow.
Yeah. But the
That's,
city's really fucked everyone over up here. Homelessness is a huge problem, all that other shit. No jobs.
that is fucked up.
Yeah. So, I'm just gonna wait until I can head down there tonight.
Well, good luck, man. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully you feel better soon now.
Oh, no worries. At least I avoided my third player death in 3 weeks.
Yes, you came very close. I was legit worried. It was like a die roll away.
I'm just happy vitality points don't carry over with the damage I took.
Yeah, that's very intentional for that. I don't want anybody dying from massive damage.
Yep. Well, I'll
Alright.
see you Sunday.
Yep. Later, man.
Later.